Hi again, I'm Dennis Federer from Xpand with another how-to video about Xpand Portal, which is part of the series of videos about the Xpand Portal solution. Today we're going to set up permissions for a portal page to tailor availability of specific fields or features to member roles. Whenever you're creating or editing a page on the portal, you can configure permissions for member roles. These permissions define availability of certain features as well as columns. Using permissions, you can customize the portal to suit your specific needs. For example, to ensure that only a specific group of portal members that belong to the necessary role could access a certain function, see certain information, or make changes in a field value. In a moment, I'm going to show you how you can configure permissions and what exactly is affected by them. Here is one of the grid pages of this portal configuration. It has a number of columns and a number of actions that the portal member can use on this page. For example, in this case, they can download document attachments, save data as PDF, export it to Excel, refresh data, select or deselect lines. They can sort data, toggle column visibility, and set filters. Also, they can edit the record by opening the card and editing some of the fields. Some of these features will be available irrespective of the role that the current member belongs to, and some of them will be inaccessible to certain roles if you set up the portal in such a way. So let's open CMS and see how we can change the permissions for these two pages and how these changes will affect them. So the features on the page can be broken down into two categories: features that are always available for any member role, and permission-dependent features. These features will be accessible only to the roles that the portal admin configures for them to have access to. The first category, the features that do not depend on permissions, are set up on the Grid tab. Here in the settings you have a number of actions that you can toggle on and off, and they will affect all roles. For example, you can toggle the ability to change the order of columns, to resize them, to sort data. You can hide certain UI elements. You can set the quantity of records to be displayed and toggle the ability to group the records. In the Fields group, you can add fields and define their default order. However, only the order of columns is global. The default visibility of fields is set up in other permission-dependent settings. The second category of features do depend on permissions, and they are set up on the Permissions tab. The permissions define the default visibility of columns. You can see all the current possible columns for this data source in this portal entity. It doesn't mean that all these columns you select here will be displayed. It means that the columns that have been added to the Grid tab and at the same time are allowed here will be visible to every member that belongs to the selected roles above. Then below the visible fields you have the settings for features that depend on permissions. Here you can see all the features allowed for this specific page. It is the ability to select records, to edit them on the card, to export data to Excel and PDF, to refresh the page, and to download attachments. So let's change these permissions and, for example, remove the ability to save data as PDF. And also let's add a feature, for example, the ability to print out data. Another important thing I must mention is that the permissions can be set up in permission sets. This allows for a greater flexibility, so that you could define different permissions for different groups of member roles. Here, for example, we have a permission set that applies to every member that belongs to any of these selected roles. Thus, the members of the seller and expert roles will not have access to these columns or features. So let's create another permission set for these two roles. Also, I must ensure that the roles do not overlap between permission sets. And here for the second permission set, I can select a different selection of fields that will be available for them. Also, I can select some of the functions. By default, all of them are available, so I'll simply remove a couple of them. We have saved the changes and published them, so let's see the results on the front end. This specific member belongs to the role that was set up in the first permission set. Therefore, as you can see, I can no longer save the data as PDF, but a new action appeared that allows me to print out data, just as we have just configured. Whenever a portal admin adds a new portal member, they assign him to one or several groups. In this way, they can control to what information or portal features certain portal members will have access to, which is defined on the Properties tab of the portal member. There is one more feature affected by permissions. It is the editability of fields. It is configured on the Grid tab when you add or edit a field. Since fields on the portal can be edited on card pages, we should enable editability only for fields on the card pages. Here is a sales invoice card where some of the fields are editable and some are not. So let's change the possibility to edit the currency code field here. The fields on the card header are located in layout blocks. The one that we need is in the right column of the header, so we open the settings for the corresponding page in CMS. Here is the second sales document card, and here is the required layout block. Then on the Fields tab, I'm going to locate the required field and select the editable checkbox. By default, all the roles become selected, but I can toggle some of them on or off. Then I'm going to save and publish the changes. So if I refresh the page now, this field has become editable. To save the changes, I need to choose the Save button. This concludes this tutorial in which we edited the permissions for member roles on the portal. Setting up permissions will help you customize the portal to your specific needs and have flexible control of access to fields and features of portal pages. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, you're welcome to visit our channel to find more about Xpand Portal. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.